Fake news.
Mr. President.
Fake news.
Fake news.
Mr. President.
Fake
I just want to have one thing to say.
Fake news,
Mr.
no.
President, I'm
Very
trying to
fake
get a word in
news.
edgewise here.
Fake news put out by
Mr.
fake
President,
news.
it's
Fake
not...
news is trying to say good things.
Mr. President, it's
about
not fake news just because you don't like it.
A few days ago, fake news called...
Enough! Each and every Tuesday, the Journey into Comics Network brings you the real news with the poor report, with the late-breaking news that really matters.
The following is a Journey into Comics Network production.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Journey into Comics, the podcast about everything nerd, with your hosts, Nate Phillips and Brandon Stone.
We've come a long way from the Prime Minister's exploding cake. Or have we?
Okay, we'll give you life.
It will?
Yes. It's hard to believe that she wound up with her That 70s Show's co-star Ashton Kutcher years later. It's even harder to believe that the two of them are now parents and have two adorable young children. Being a parent is stressful for anyone. It must also be even more challenging when the whole world knows who you are. Despite this, the makeup famous couple are doing what they can to keep their kids humble and grateful. It's one of those where I have to click next.
Oh God, that's the worst.
Mila Kunis is also an excellent mother. She also an excellent actress. She can tap into dark desires and play a terrible mom like she did in the film Bad Moms. Click next.
I love that movie.
Story time. While promoting a new film, Bad Moms Christmas. I did not realize that was a thing. Mila Kunis has shared a hilarious tale with People magazine that involves her child and a UPS man, and also centers around her boobs. Next. UPS guy. Kunis and Kutcher sound like friendly folks, and they take time to get to know those in the service and delivery industries, as Kunis describes. My UPS guy's really sweet. I've had him for years, and he always just drops off the package. Next. She continues saying that, but you can see him through the glass in the window, and this would become an issue for her as well. Next. God, it's like the article just keeps getting smaller and smaller as you
Why can't they just tell you the fucking story in one article?
Because each page has different ads, and it's like Google AdSense. And, yeah. Turns out she was topless at the time, and I just got my phone is infested with viruses.
Oh, it just gave you the Google error thing or whatever?
Yep. And it's saying, my Galaxy Note fan. So guess what? I'm not going to...
You don't know the result of the story?
No.
We got that far deep into this story,
I know.
And you don't even have the end of it?
I know. And so now I'm like going through very quickly, trying to click next another 5,000 times.
Next.
UPS guy.
Next.
He always drops off the package. I bet he was thinking about his package.
Oh, man. Let me just tell you, Mila Kunis, she's sexy.
All right. She was topless at the time this happened, right after she gave birth to a second child, and as you new mothers know, sometimes you just need to shed layers. Next. She describes, I was just shirtless because I was hot. I was just with my baby, and I was like 3 days postpartum, so it was like I was still pregnant. Next. I was just like, hey, don't even think about it, naked skin to skin with my baby, and he just puts the package down, looks up, and I was like, I didn't even care. And it's nice to hear the interaction didn't faze her, but how did the UPS guy react? Turns out he was more embarrassed than she was. He felt so guilty about it and so bad. I was like, don't worry about it. Yes, that would have been an embarrassing moment, but I was in bliss.
Damn.
And all right, so imagine it, even if it was Mila. I mean, Mila's like, she's gorgeous.
Absolutely.
But like, put it like, even if she isn't your like top celebrity crush or somebody who's famous, think about like if you like were like their mail delivery dude, and you're just over time you've actually started like slowly
developing
talking to each other,
bond, kind of,
and you're developing kind of a trust. Like I'm handling their packages for them, and it's like they're starting to know me. I'm starting to know where they want me to put the packages and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And then you look up and you just you see her like either like in this case topless but naked, and they're just like, hey, and you're like, because suddenly wouldn't you just feel like you did something completely wrong and immoral
Well, I think there's like a million questions with this because UPS driver, is he single? Because if he's single, first thought in his head's almost got to be like, what is this? Mm-hmm. Like, wait a minute. Is Ashton in the other room waiting on me too or something? Like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, exactly. Or like, she's like, maybe he doesn't know for sure if the baby's been born yet. So like, he's still, he's like, oh, maybe she's got the kid. I don't know. That's weird. There's like 100 other things you could think of about how that goes down.
I would feel very uncomfortable because not just a matter of like, oh, is she trying to come on to me?
But then like, you have historical spank bank for life, man.
Well, you have a mental image.
You can't
that
lose it
is
either.
Never going to go away. That
No,
you just
sir.
saw,
candid in ways other people have not.
Well, exactly. Because it's not like she's done a lot of stuff that like is very exposing for her.
I don't really think so at all. Like from the time she played Jackie in that 70s show through everything. I mean, even in Black Swan, you saw more naked skin of Natalie Portman than you ever did. Have you ever seen that movie, Black Swan?
Yeah, a long time ago.
So you see Mila's very sparse on what they actually show of her. And maybe she, it wasn't body comfortable or whatever.
She always she seems like such a down-to-earth person.
Yes, that is exactly it.
Like I know that when you're putting your life out there, it's very easy to project what you want other people to see.
Yeah.
But she always has come off to me just when you see certain celebrities, I don't for 1 second believe that Kanye West is humble and down to earth.
No.
At all.
No.
He just seems like someone who's so full of himself.
Dude, every other word is Kanye.
All right. So, like what they're naming their kid, like the new one, right?
Chicago West.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that like if they have another one, they should call it like if it's a boy, Easton West. Yeah. And if they have a girl,
but I think they already have Key West. That's funny. I think though, isn't it Northwest was the first?
Northwest and then Chicago.
But I think there was a second one.
Is there another one?
Is it Southwest? I'm not trying to be like funny. Maybe it's not, or maybe it's a different name. Sierra West. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe they only have two kids. I don't know. But you know what's crazy?
You could call so if it's a boy, WYLDE.
WYLDE. Wild West. Oh, that's great. That's actually kind of awesome. I was scrolling Facebook last night before I went to bed, and apparently that. I don't know if she's a rapper or actress or whatever. Black China. Do you know who that is? You ever heard of her?
She's with one of the Kardashians. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was.
Well, yeah. There's a sex tape out. Yeah.
What is it with the Kardashians and sex tapes?
I don't know. I think it's their only claim to fame. They're just like, we'll leak this ourselves. People go fucking nuts seeing us fuck. Really. Because
do you remember? Okay, so like with the Kim one, they actually it got legitimately like released by like a company.
Yeah.
And they went in and they like took like things that she said and like replayed it over and over again. So like when Kim is saying like, "Oh, Ray J," and her mouth isn't even moving.
Oh,
and they're just then they add more moans in to make it like,
damn.
It's like
overproduced.
Yeah. I saw that like years and years ago.
That's
well because now in the age of like free internet porn stuff just gets uploaded everywhere,
all over the place, all the time.
And okay, so there's this new thing going on with YouTube where like YouTube creators under 1,000 subscribers, under 4,000 watch hours as of last year are now completely demonetized and no longer partners. Our good friend Seek Donnelly just hit 1,000, and he was worried about because he was at like 800 or something. So there was a big push to get him over that, and I really hope that he was not affected by the current change, which I think has now gone into effect, or it's about to. But they were talking about like there's no other big competitor for YouTube for that marketplace for video creators, and it seems like Twitch is getting into it, which I'm starting to explore a little bit of that with Game Addicts, and I'm getting no views.
You should tell the Podbean folks that we're affiliated with to try to make Twitch another thing we can stream to or send versions of our files to.
It's different though. No, it's completely different because it has to be a video. Oh. It has to be a video file, and you have to schedule a premiere for it. It has to be uploaded through Twitch, and you basically use like, okay, so when you upload a video to YouTube, you can have it go live right now. It's available live everywhere, or you can schedule it or make it private. With this, you're scheduling a Twitch premiere. You're uploading a video. You have to set a premiere event and select a time, a description, and you're creating a like a thumbnail for the event. And then you do that stuff for the video as well. So that way, like for example, this morning at 10 o'clock, my episode aired. It was live streamed through my channel. It live streamed the video that I uploaded. So while it's playing and on the live stream, you can be in the chat with other people.
Question: when those are uploaded and it's live streaming your episode, I've not yet even once seen like a thing from any of your accounts say like Twitch dot whatever for the new Game Addicts. I didn't even know that was a thing. So I have Twitch on my phone though.
Yeah.
So I would love to.
Yeah, you can go find it. I shared it on on Twitter and like when we first started. And, so I need to get on that. That's one reason why I'm not getting any viewers. Number one, on Twitch, you have millions of streamers now, of people streaming. But, I need to get the word out there a little bit more. The thing is that I don't like...
I friended you.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't like having my premiere in the morning because I can't take place in the chat if it ever starts getting going. However, that whole thing, the whole pre-recorded thing will be a thing of the past sometime this year when we start streaming it. When we do the episode live, it'll stream.
I'm trying to figure out how to go to your profile on Twitch. Oh, I just did it. I don't know how I did it, but you have one follower right now. It's me.
I thought I had more than that.
And your videos... Oh, they're there. They're there. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Well, actually, only up till the last week is there.
Okay, I uploaded the other one today. And it was supposed to go live today. So maybe I need to go check it out. Maybe it wasn't done processing by the time it was supposed to go live. And maybe it's going like, what's going on here?
Well, we can do that at some point. Do you need your laptop?
No, I just need to get on the computer out there.
Oh, okay.
Which I need to do anyway so I can print off our tickets and our stuff for the concert that we're going to tonight. Because we're live in person. If you couldn't tell... this is Journey in the Comics. This is episode, what is it, like 670?
180.
This is 180?
Yeah, we are 20 away from 200, Brando.
Damn.
Welcome to the show, guys.
Yeah, welcome to the show. This is Brando, and we are live and in person. We're going to a concert later on tonight. We're going to tell you a little bit more about that just a little bit later. But, I hope you guys enjoyed the nice, long, cold open where we talked about random article that Brando found talking about Mila Kunis being naked in front of a UPS driver. Never in my life have I ever wanted to be a package handler.
More than that.
More than
I bet he was a definite package handler afterwards.
Buddy.
How could you not?
I'd be going home that night and going, like looking at my wife going, I just saw Mila Kunis without her shirt on.
The fuck?
and she's like, what did you say? I'm like, I said, I'm sorry. And she said, no, it's fine. And she's going to be like, did you go in the house? I was too scared. I ran away and cried in the truck.
I was back there with the packages, just sobbing uncontrollably.
I'm gonna get fired.
And then Ashton Kutcher's gonna hire people to come and kill me or punk me, because that's his more ultimate revenge. He's like, oh, you saw my wife naked, huh? Well, now I'm going to punk you and make him think that he's going to die in some terrible alley thing or some crazy shit. And then it's just like, oh, you're punked. And the dude's like wet himself and everything.
Yeah, guys, but welcome to the show. Of course, here on the Journey to Comics Network, we have a full volley of shows all across the different days, man. We upload a new episode of a show every single day of the week, sometimes two on Sundays. Because you're going to get a dose of the best of the week, which is a great way to get into the show. If you're the first time listener, go check out some of the best of the weeks, because you get a little snippet, a little appetizer.
Good word, appetizer of the appetizer.
That's what
show.
I said in my recording of my best of the week intro that I haven't sent you or edited yet.
You've done it?
I've done it, but it's just sitting on my computer.
Yeah. Bro, get it to me at some point.
Well, yeah, I just don't. Well, I'm not sure if I like the way it ended.
Okay,
well, we'll see.
We'll figure it out.
Definitely, guys, go to journeyintocomics.com and check out all that we have to offer. Of course, we're on podcast services around the globe. Of course, iTunes, one of your biggest podcast services out there. iTunes, of course, our great hosts over there at Podbean and the great Podbean app. Check that out. And then, of course, Spotify. And then the rest, Stitcher Radio, Google Play Music, kind of coming in there at the rear, but we're there.
I'm going to just tell our listeners like it is. I would tell you honestly, Probably listen on Podbean if you can.
That's going to help us more than other than iTunes. I think those two are like the biggest ones that are going to help us the most because iTunes gives us the more exposure. But the Podbean, dude, like us getting numbers on Podbean helps increase us in the eyes of like Podbean. So
and
like,
then its visibility and all those
exactly.
things that come with that. But I was going to say that where I was going somewhere with that, Brando. And then,
I don't know, but I haven't really used Spotify a lot for podcasts.
Oh, that's
but we
what I
also
was
don't
gonna
really
say.
see the numbers for that, like because how it works is that when we post the episode, it shares to them, and then they download it and re-upload it.
Correct. And then as of right now, they are still working with Podbean to make it to where we get to see those numbers. It's a little behind the scenes talk. But what I was going to say about me saying I would choose for them to listen to Podbean, a couple reasons. One, increase volume. So if you're partially deaf like me, you get that little extra boost of volume. It makes it all the difference, honestly. And then second of all, I know for like Google Play Music, I've had so many issues with the Journey into Comics Network shows not loading on the day it comes out, loading days later. Sometimes it's like one episode that should go doesn't happen. 3 episodes drop after it, and then like the 4th one makes all of them upload at the same time. So there's like some really weird inconsistencies. All I know is for a fact, iTunes and Podbean are going to guarantee every episode, every week, every day, all the time.
Right. And of course, iTunes are there for your Apple guys, and Podbean is probably the number one way to go if you have an Android device. It's easy, just create an account, and follow us on there, man. It increases that. We love seeing our numbers go up.
We're en route to 500. You guys are on your way to 1,000.
Dude, it's crazy that Game Addicts was on like the. I think we were on the featured list a little bit longer than JIC was.
Yeah,
And I think that's just because they didn't feature a whole lot of podcasts after us. They featured some. And I think that because how they do it is that they set certain Podbean podcasts to feature for different weeks. And maybe just for the few weeks after us, there wasn't as many to push us down. Like for JSC, like we had more.
There was a higher influx at the first of the year.
Exactly. So like.
That was Journey into Wrestling from last night, trying to make an appearance on Journey, or not from last. It's still doing it. Shut up.
Shut up, Blaine.
Shut up, Blaine. Stop yelling.
I'm going to talk to you later tonight. Talk about how you interrupted my podcast.
And he wasn't even here.
He wasn't even here, man. He's supposed to be at work, but I guarantee you if we text him, he'll answer.
Of course. I'm looking because the Journey into Comics Network on the way to our Scholar tier.
Mine hasn't moved.
Yeah.
For Game Addicts.
Yeah.
So is that how much we listen, or how much?
It's how much we listen. I listen to a lot of podcasts.
I do. I still use Podcast Addict sometimes as well.
Yeah.
Because Podbean, for me, for some of my episodes, for some of the podcasts, and I've had this happen on Podcast Addict too, where it's not connecting with the server. And that's for each individual show. So, for example, I'm subscribed to like the Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah.
There might be times where the Podbean can't connect with that server, but for some reason the Podcast Addict one could.
Oh.
So like I bounce back and forth between the two. You can download
Interesting.
either one. We will see the numbers either way, but definitely Podbean will definitely come back to us and help us out. I'm looking to see.
I love that we just gave a Podbean advertisement. Because
Yeah.
they're great. They really are. Shannon and Jennifer and all those guys.
Game Addicts is no longer featured.
They're
officially
that
pushed
was,
down.
That was the other thing I
Now
was gonna
featured
check.
for newer podcasts. These guys don't have a lot of followers. We have the Shauna and Lala on the radio. The Soapy Madams.
Swish and Flick is recently featured, too.
Yes.
Their Harry Potter pod.
Raspy Voice Kids, Dr. Skeleton's Art School, Dog Guru. You can literally have a podcast about anything. There's a podcast called Drink It Up. And they have they had a kind of a break. They didn't upload from like October to February, but their new episode was just in February 17th. So
What I don't understand is on the .com, we're both featured in the games and hobbies section.
Mm-hmm.
But on the phone,
yeah,
not anywhere.
I know.
I'm so confused. It's confusing, folks. Podcasting is confusing. Anyways, Brando, we have a shit ton of news to digest and get through.
I have one here that
Sure.
is like Toys R Us is going to close 200 more stores.
Corporate they're corporately eliminating roles and positions and losing money drastically.
In addition to the 180 stores previously announced for closure. So now it's going to be 380, and layoffs to be in the excess of 9,000 employees.
Woo.
The Journal cites, the Wall Street Journal, cites a subpar holiday season as one of the main reasons behind the additional closings. Toys R Us will no longer be providing a severance for its employees.
Ouch.
According to the Journal, while a judge allowed the company to pay its top executives bonuses.
Criminals. They're all criminals, Brando.
What?
And I tell you what, the generation that's coming up that's dealing with all this other shit that we've been having in our country, they're feisty. They're fucking sick of it. And they're going to take this place over. And it's going to be great when it happens. Anyways, we have so much news today, Brando. I wanted to maybe start off with something we didn't get to do last week and have a little BP discussion. What did you think of Black Panther? I know I kind of like loosely elaborated your thoughts, but I would love to get your actual thoughts on this movie now that you've kind of had a week to digest it, or close to.
Yeah. I thought it was a pretty good movie. Not worth for me seeing in the theater twice.
Fair enough.
If once was enough, I'll wait till it comes out in video to watch it again. And even then, it's like I'm not super hyped to see it again. It wasn't one of those movies for me. I thought it was great for what it did. I think I told you that I wasn't that impressed with the CGI in this film.
There were some spotty CGI things. They got blurry in lots of spots. The CGI kind of lighting didn't line up so good. But that, really, of all the things that people are complaining about this movie, which is not much, it's literally the CGI and that the story was a little predictable.
Well, predictable stories are fine with me in the theater or even movies in general. I'm okay with it because that's human storytelling.
Storytelling, yeah.
I mean, you're gonna you can only tell the different. How often do you go see a movie and you're like, that completely and utterly 100% shocked me? Never in my life would I ever have. I've never seen a movie in a story like this ever. You don't.
Few and far between.
Yeah.
Extremely.
And usually those films are like pushing the boundaries.
Correct.
Of what you perceive as a story. With this, that wasn't the case. There was good storytelling. There was good character moments that made you invested into these characters. I thought that this film was a really great way to do a single character story after he's already been established and had an origin, just like Spider-Man: Homecoming, but different because I feel like even this was better than Spider-Man: Homecoming in respects to establishing who and what Black Panther is and T'Challa, but like you've already he is Black Panther. You've already seen him. You understand. Well, his dad died and then he took up the mantle. Okay, now we don't get the origin of him. We dive deeper into him and we get the origins of Wakanda, his family, the tribes, the vibranium. You get all this other stuff of origins surrounding him, and he's at the top of the pillar. I liked how that was done because it was all that stuff needed to be talked about, and this was the movie to do it in. And
it didn't feel like a typical superhero movie.
Not really. It felt a little different. Yeah,
really grounded, And it's interesting too to note. I kind of found a beautiful similarity, and not quite the same, but there were some interesting similarities to this story and Lion King.
In a way,
with the crowning of the king and the fall of the king, and the rebirth of the king, and really,
only he didn't come back with like a warthog and
he didn't need to. He just had the fucking dope ass suit.
Right. Well, and no, because that's the story to tell. Because he's already has the mantle, so now you have to tell the story of the hero losing it and then reacquiring it, and reestablishing himself in that role. And it works. It works with the story. It is sort of a type of telling of that. Hero falls and must rise again.
Yeah.
But it works, it's fine. And what really helped it was just the villain was amazing. One of the more realist villains they've had in the MCU so far.
With a real tragic backstory that you could relate to immediately.
Yeah, well, I mean, because it makes him a little sympathetic. And what's awesome about it is that it really dives deep into T'Challa's character, that he says, we can probably still heal you.
Yeah, he wants to give him a shot at redemption.
Because right now he's making up for his father's failure. He's reaching out. He's like, look, I'm taking my mail back, but I don't want to kill you.
What good does that do me?
Exactly. But then he doesn't want it. He refuses it. Spoiler alert, guys. Little too late at this point, but no, I felt like it was a fun movie. A little long in spots. There's a few scenes that dragged on for me in the theater, and it's like as soon as I was like saying, "All right, let's go," then it went.
Yeah.
Then it went. But like the just the fact that I had to like even think that to me is like it's a slight on it.
Fair enough. And no movie's going to be flawlessly perfect. I don't expect you to be like, this is 100% the greatest movie ever made.
No,
like,
I still stand by it. I think eight's a good score.
It's definitely a top 8s movie. It's higher in the MCU than most for me. Like, it would almost be a 9. And in some cases, I think that movie, if I rewatched it, I would probably give it a 9. And that's also hard for me to try to put it up against the other MCU movies that I've seen so many times.
Well, see, we really praised Age of Ultron when it came out, and after I rewatched it, I still kind of stand by the fact that it's a 9 for me due to the themes that it explored with the characters.
Yes,
the story has its issues, but those themes were awesome, and the characters that they've kind of focused on more were the characters that either are not getting a movie or haven't got a movie. They might get a movie to themselves, but they really served their purpose for that because. Diving into Hawkeye, going in with Hulk and Black Widow, getting in deep with those characters because there's no other movies. They're always side characters. So let's really dive into them and bring them to the forefront of the story. Meanwhile, the heart of the story is embedded with the whole Stark has PTSD. He's so scared. He's worried. He's going to be. This is all his fault. And so him over worrying creates a bigger problem.
He actually made the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
One thing I want to mention real quick before we leave Black Panther talk, because I kind of have some other stuff to spin out of this. Wednesday, it made $14.5 million.
Just this past Wednesday?
Just yesterday.
Just yesterday?
Well, last Wednesday, by the time Monday people are hearing this. But yeah, so last
Unless
week...
you're hearing this through...
Patreon, which would be tonight at some point. But Black Panther continues to impress, scoring $14.5 million yesterday, the best Wednesday on record for an MCU film, topping the Avengers that only made $13.6. Worldwide gross is at $491 million. Will pass $500 million Thursday, the 9th day of its release.
Cool.
That's crazy.
I mean, it's definitely a movie to go check out. Some people are going to love it more than others. But when you have a movie that is pretty well put together and has some great character moments, it has some great acting, it discusses some great themes within itself. And do you need to see this movie 100% to enjoy Infinity War? Maybe not.
Depends on how Infinity War incorporates Wakanda.
Exactly.
I think
that is the only thing.
Undetermined.
Because Wakanda is almost like the unspoken character in the story.
Yes.
And how it relates to the world. I've actually seen now half of Wonder Woman.
Half of it.
Half of it. We need to finish it.
Okay.
But how they're hidden. Wakanda's hidden as well. Mm-hmm. And it's all about how where what's their place in the world, and what's it going to be? Because how much would that change, like everything within the MCU as far as the world goes? And of course, we've all seen trailers and everything for Infinity War, and how part of the story is going to be taking place there, seemingly.
I'm going to show you a picture relevant to this conversation we're having about Marvel and Black Panther. But people are giving Killmonger some, oh my god, he looks like an anime character. Do you know who? When you see it, you can't unsee it. Mm-hmm. Like, it's really close. And it's crazy because Michael B. Jordan really loves anime, actually. So,
and he is almost kind of like a Vegeta type character.
He is, actually. That's interesting. One thing I want to mention, Brando, talking about Infinity War, and I don't think I've elaborated this thought to you or anyone else on the podcast. I'm actually wearing my Marvel Villains shirt that features the Masters of Evil. Do you know who the Masters of Evil are in the MCU?
In the MCU?
Actually, technically in the MCU, they already all exist. And Thanos, Loki, Ultron, and Skull. That's the Masters of Evil. How dope would it be if Thanos brought Ultron back using the stones? Just like, boom, he puts Loki under his control. Boom, Loki's a pawn. Boom, Red Skull comes back. Hugo Weaving, are you kidding? It would be incredible. Incredible.
But then it's like these characters that were once the biggest main villains of their own films are just going to become kind of like side villains.
But that's what their roles are, ultimately. I mean, if you look at the hierarchy, I mean, who's above Thanos?
Right.
A Galactus. That's it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, exactly that. 4, 4, 4, 4, 4.
Fantastic Four.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, to me, it's like, what do you do that's bigger than Thanos in the MCU? It's Galactus.
I think that they will, before they introduce Galactus officially, and maybe they will, like, long-term tease him coming, you know? I think that before they go there, they're going to explore the secret invasion, and I talked about that, how that's definitely an interesting concept and a way to maybe recast or choose to not recast. I don't think we're going to hear any announcements on who is getting cast for the next phase after the last Avengers movie that's coming out at the end of the year, or next year. We won't know who's been re-signed or anything until after that movie's out, because if they say before, it's a spoiler immediately. Right. Oh, we signed Chris Evans for 6 more films. Well, I wonder what he's doing. Especially, he's probably not dead, you know?
No offense to Downey, but I kind of want him to step back.
I think Downey's death would be super impactful, and if you want to keep Tony in any form, if you want to keep Robert Downey Jr. in any form, make him AI.
Yep.
Absolutely. And then AP brought this fact to me. He said, how fucking cool would it be if Tony dies and Shuri takes up the Iron Man mantle? She's all tech. She knows it. Brings up another thing. If you've seen the Super Bowl trailer, Tony's got that weird new suit that like just morphs on him, just like the suits in Wakanda morph on them, because it's probably a Wakandan-made Iron Man suit. Like, oh, they're setting it all up so nicely. So there's big things possibly to come. See if there's any more MCU news I have here. No, but I have some headlines, Brando. I'm going to just start throwing them at you. Some of this stuff is comic book news. Some of this stuff is movie news. I'm not sure where we will go. The first thing I'm going to throw up is... We'll keep it breezy. Marvel just gave a major villain in the comic universe one of the Infinity Stones. That character is Ultron, which is actually technically like Pymtron, because Hank Pym is now Ultron. I don't know if you know that. He's inside of Ultron. A lot of people who are in the comic world think this is possibly a way for them to write Pym back into being a good guy, get him out of the Ultron suit for good, and like maybe have him be the exactly what he is in the MCU kind of guide to Scott Lang, mentor, if you will, as they have there in the comics. So Ultron's got an Infinity Stone. They're doing this Infinity Countdown. They also changed how the Infinity Stones work. I'll read this real quick. The descriptions on the stones are not mistake. It's part of the stones have changed. They form a circuit. Your mastery of one element powers the next stone in the circuit, and so on around an infinite feedback loop, hence infinite power. So that's cool. I don't have a picture of what that looks like. It looks like it's trying to load, but it's moving really slow, so I can't describe it until the picture loads because, you know, of course.
Interesting.
Anyways, we'll move on to the next bit here. We have Marvel has announced fresh start. They're going to clean slate everything again, like Marvel Now and Marvel Legacy and all this stuff. I think, well, and they're not the only ones. Because there's some news that I have for DC, too. They're also doing these things. And it's kind of neat, though. Fresh start. They posted the picture for Fresh Start. I'll list off all the people that you can see in this picture, and I want you to tell me if you think anything interesting after I say some of these names. So we've got Thor, OG, but now with the golden hammer. Medusa from the Inhumans. Hulk, Iron Man, Spidey, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Ant-Man the Wasp, Captain America, Punisher, Thing, Wolverine, Black Panther, Gambit, She-Hulk, Ghost Rider, Deadpool, Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange, Miles Morales, Spider-Man, Venom, and Daredevil. Most everybody I named has some form of MCU something or other. There's only a couple that haven't been featured, don't have a movie, or haven't been introduced yet. A lot of these people, though, and then it's interesting to note, too, that with Marvel now, why all of a sudden are they starting to bring Thing and Fantastic Four people back in? They've been so far gone so long. Mm-hmm. So I think everything's setting up nicely. It's crazy, too. Ghost Rider is officially an Avenger. Like, they slightly changed the team, and he ended up being an Avenger. It's never happened before. This is interesting, something that you may not know, Brando. Mad Magazine. You ever read Mad? You ever check out Mad?
I've seen it and read it when I was a kid, but like I've never like been a long time reader.
It's going to be rebooting.
Mad is rebooting?
They've had 550 issues, and they're going to reboot to an issue 1. All these years later, and this thing started in 1952.
Right.
That's crazy, you know? I mean, it started before it was a part of DC, and then DC ended up getting it. So bizarre that that's happening. There's actually a couple people that Corey Hampshire, Journey into Comics family, kind of said, like, what the fuck? No one else is bitching that they're going to get rid of the numbering system, but like if they do it for Spider-Man, everyone loses their mind.
Yeah.
Like, but no one cares that it's Mad, just as much as part of history as everything else.
Well, yeah, that doesn't make much sense to me, though.
Let's see. So we'll move here. This is a good segue because Chandler Riggs, he plays Carl, played Carl, has playing Carl.
I guess we'll find out in a week.
I want to say
that's Sunday.
We didn't talk about this when we did the review for Walking Dead 176, but you know, in the letter hacks, he said we will find out the fate of Carl.
Right.
He didn't say, I know you guys are all pissed off that Carl's dead.
Right.
So I'm still standing by it, Brando. I don't think Riggs is gone. I think this is a swerve. Maybe this is to help him finish
the whole
college.
Glenn thing, maybe?
Exactly. And think about it. Give him time to go away. Have Negan almost completely think that Rick is off the rails, but he's in controlled chaos mode. It's all an act, you know. From here on in, the death of Carl is an act, and the reveal will be Carl stopping Negan, Carl slicing his throat.
That'd be interesting.
Not killing him, but slicing his throat. Oh, I mean that's a way to change it, you know. And I think that also Lauren Cohen not going to be on the show anymore. She picked up a new show.
Yeah.
And that's going to conflict with Walking Dead.
Well, did you hear that she was wanting to get equal pay with
Reedus?
with Norman Reedus and with Andy Lincoln?
I mean, I get that because she's a top-tier actress who's
been on the show
killing
since
it. And
season 2, top tier. She's been her character is a major part. But I'm afraid that like they don't want to pay her as much because they say, well, the other two do more. It's like her character she's almost more as much important to the story as those two guys are. And like, why shouldn't she get equal pay? I think she should be up there as, you know, a number 3 or number 4 along with you know,
Reedus and Lincoln.
Well, Reedus, Lincoln, and then
Denai Guraria.
Jeffrey D. Morgan.
Oh, JDM, yeah.
As like the most bankable people on the show.
Totally.
You know, and I mean, think about like the doors that are opening up for her. Sure, of course, but the show is not going to go as long as the comics.
No, and it can't. Because the people that are acting can only do it for so long and tell so many stories before they're old.
And then eventually they're going to pass the comics.
Yep.
As much as like they're trying to slow it down and not get too far, they're going to pass it. Just like Game of Thrones passed the damn books.
I mean, there's a natural state of progression. There's rumor the Whisperers might show up. I don't know if you know this. Jodie Whittaker, she's the new Doctor. Mm-hmm. She got equal pay to Peter Capaldi. She said the only way she would take that role is if they paid her equally, and they did.
Absolutely.
So that's cool, and they just released the new Doctor Who logo. That's not anything big. Back to Carl and Chandler Riggs. Did you know he auditioned for 2 roles for Disney?
Mm-mm.
Han Solo and Peter Parker.
So back when they were doing the casting for those?
Correct. He didn't get either. Maybe that's also part of the reason why he's like not that mad if they actually did kill him off. Because he's like, maybe they wouldn't touch me with a 10-foot pole because I was a part of The Walking Dead, you know? But that's weird because Denai Guraria, they've pulled other people from those movies.
It doesn't make any sense. He must not have been what they were looking for, though. And I also think that when the dude was cast for Han Solo, it was the other directors in mind.
Correct.
You know, that had a vision for
Lord
him.
and Miller.
And so, I mean, it's going to be interesting.
Mark Hamill receiving a Hollywood star
Finally.
on the Walk of Fame. 40 years since he debuted in the groundbreaking Star Wars movie, the actor is earning a star of his own. He is the 2,630th star inducted in the Walk of Fame, and that ceremony will be March 8th. That's awesome.
Hosted by George Lucas and Harrison Ford.
Are you serious?
That's what it said.
That's cool. I didn't read the whole article, even though it's right in front of me. You know, because that's who I am as a person. And anyways, that's not important. Oh, speaking of Star Wars, Brando, the script for Episode 9 has been completed. They begin filming soon. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, we're already there. It's like we barely have gotten time to think about and really digest The Last Jedi, and they're already gearing my shit up for the next one.
Yep.
They got me. Every year Star Wars, they fucking got me. Do they get me? They get me.
Well, and the thing is that we're going to have to wait a little bit longer for that because we're going to get Solo so quickly after Last Jedi.
And then have a long layoff of things.
Because there's not going to be, like, it's not going to be in December. It's going to be a year and a half that we got to wait for Episode 9. So
I'm excited. It should be good. They say that we have a script, which is a big deal. It starts shooting at the end of July. Having a script in advance is something I can't say I've always been lucky enough to have. He wrote it with Chris Terrio, who is a genius, and he's having a great time. That's all that I have to report on the Star Wars front. We'll switch gears here on our way out the door before we're going to move on to this next thing. A couple comic book series are ending on the DC front. Teen Titans and Titans are both likely to end. Joining Justice League of America, Batgirl, Birds of Prey, Super Sons, Supergirl, and Trinity. So it looks like a lot of stuff is getting phased out in the DC realm because they're going to probably do a overhaul relaunch yet again. They just did Rebirth like not even 2 years ago. Do we have a problem with comics doing this so much?
I think what it is that they do it and the sales don't pick up. So then if they don't stay with it long enough, they're just like, we need to do something. Or maybe somebody else in power comes in and goes, we need to rebirth it, and then they just kind of redo it again all over again. And
Weird. I don't know.
I hope they don't.
Early Aquaman test screenings are reporting positive.
Good.
So it looks like 2018 is going to be an intense year for comic book fans, as no DC film other than Aquaman is going to be debuting. And it says, so far, 2 different sources told me they loved Aquaman. There's tons of action, but it's a very emotional movie as well.
Good.
From BatmanNews.com.
That gives me hope for it. I mean, I don't have any negative connotations towards that project, you know.
To begin with.
No, but with all the stuff that's been going on in that camp and everything, it does. You have a reason to worry. I mean, they've done Wonder Woman great, but then, you know, like the Snyder stuff hasn't done well, but then the Suicide Squad didn't do that well.
Also true.
I mean, no, actually, money-wise, it did fantastic, but just
not well received.
Not well received among fans. So that's good because I hope that they can, no pun intended, ride the wave a little bit off of this to help. All right, here's another one. Let's keep going, man. You know, we've had a few hiccups, but that's fine because Marvel's had some hiccups too.
Correct. You can't forget in the early days they had Iron Man 2 and Hulk.
It's hard to think about that now when everything they're putting out is on such a level, and it seems like they've got all their ducks in a row. But I think part of the problem was DC just tried to fast track it too fast.
They didn't have patience and want to see it develop over time. And if they would have and we've said that the Nolan verse could have been your place to really launch that forward. Of course, you would have had to have got either Chris Nolan and or Christian Bale to both commit to more.
Well, Nolan did he was executive producer for Man of Steel.
That's right. He was EP. I forgot about that.
And then it was said later from Christian Bale, you know, like when he first heard that Affleck got it, you know, because he was done. He's like, I'm tired of being in the suit. I'm tired of getting in shape, man. You know, he's like, man, that's a lot of work every time to go do that one of those movies. I got to like bust my ass. And then he goes, I kind of felt jealous. It's almost like when you find out that like your girlfriends, your ex-girlfriend seeing somebody else, and you're just like, and you were fine with the breakup until you saw them or heard about them dating somebody else, and now you're all upset.
Yeah,
and that's kind of how he felt, and he was just kind of like, I wouldn't mind playing it again. And he goes, I was completely done, man. I was out. I was done. And now that I don't have it anymore, it's kind of like I kind of want to go back. He goes, but that's not my thing. That's his thing. Let him go. Let him do it. He hasn't seen it either. Apparently he doesn't watch superhero movies.
it doesn't surprise me.
He said that he really only watches what his kids want to see, and like he for a second he thought his kid did want to see it, but it turns out his kid just wanted to see the trailer. His kid saw the trailer, goes, yeah, that's cool, and then they never went and saw the movie.
That's awesome.
Yep. I agree with you, man. The whole Nolan thing. You either could have brought him back as like the older Bruce getting back into it after he got himself out, which would have like undermined the plot of Dark Knight Rises, but then you could have done something with Joseph Gordon-Levitt as well, whether or not he is Batman or is he Nightwing or whatever. What is he? You know?
Yeah, exactly. I guess that Nightwing is not a top priority for DC now. They said that they made all this headway and have got a director, and they said, no, we're not really concerned if this happens. So
I think they're really more concerned about making sure their Batman project gets, whether or not it's Affleck or not, gets the attention that it needs to get, because they already got a great director.
I don't know, man. I feel like we're at a point in the universe, and we're at a point in the lives of our humanity that I want everything to take a big pause. Like, Marvel can keep doing its thing, but like comic books, on almost all fronts, your Marvels, your DCs, take a big pause. Go a couple months without releasing any books. Make fans be like, what the fuck? And then release some quality. Mm-hmm. It has to be quality. If you're just releasing bullshit day after day after day after day after day after day after week after month after year, it loses its punch. It loses its luster, you know? So, I don't know, man. It's weird. There's one last thing that we have comic book-wise. I don't know if you saw this. Did you see the Brainiac picture? Do you know about this?
Was that from Krypton?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks dope as fuck.
Yeah.
He looks absolutely phenomenal. The guy who's playing him, I don't know what his name is. I'm trying to find it. I thought it was on this article. But this is going to be a sci-fi movie.
It's a series, isn't it?
Yes.
Sci-fi series.
Yes, it is.
And much in the same kind of thought and notion of Gotham.
Exactly.
But it's like even before Superman's parents, so it's like his grandparents.
It's the history, yeah. So that looks to be interesting. But Brando, we got to get ready to get ourselves to go to a concert tonight.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing an interesting thing on this episode where we're going to like take a pause now. Mm-hmm. And then when we come back, we're going to do like a little brief retrospective and also telling of how the concert went.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because we're going to go see Iced Earth, which is one of my favorite bands.
Same.
We saw them back 10 years ago.
Wild.
For the first time in 2008. It was in May, up near Chicago. And it just like, I have a lot of cool stories as far as like coincidences or, stars aligning type thing that I definitely want to tell, but we're kind of running out of time right now. So maybe I'll tell them when we get back.
Yeah, we'll get loose with it on the after show and maybe crack open a few cold ones and chat it up. Do we want to see if the others want to join for a conversation, or is that a thing we aren't going to know?
They have to go to work tomorrow.
Oh, shit. That sucks for them.
Yeah.
Well, they're goddamn troopers. Thanks, Blaine, and also Joe Grimes for doing this also.
Yeah, no, so no, they will not be joining us for that conversation because they got to go home and get some sleep.
Yeah, like we're going to go ahead and take a little breather right now, folks. In literally no time at all, I'm going to just keep talking. So it's probably going to happen now. You're going to hear a changeover, and we're in the next part of the episode already. Anyways, they sat in your car for a long time. Mm-hmm. How are cookies?
Cookies are very numbable.
Cardinal sin of podcasts, never eat into the microphone, but it's late, Brando.
I don't give a fuck.
We're high on life. We just got done experiencing one of the coolest things.
I keep dropping bits of my cookie, and I'm so sad.
I'm so sorry that you keep dropping bits of your cookie. Welcome back to the podcast. It seems like we never really left. We almost totally left and never had that part of the episode. And I actually used a life hack, Brando. if you ever start to record over something on this board, just unplug the motherfucker. That's all you do.
As long as you've saved the other one prior.
As long as you save the other one prior. I did it. I didn't fuck it up. I almost totally fucked it up, Brando. Even when I told you, I'm not going to fuck this up. I was going there. Anyways, my friend, you were the coolest bro in the whole world. And I'm using that word funnily because we've been using it a lot tonight and reflecting other things, right? I don't know who listens to the podcast, so I'm trying to be vague a little bit there. But,
Brew.
fair enough, right? So you were like, hey, man, February 22nd, Ice-Darth, they're going to be in Indy. And they've not played Indy in like 16 years, right?
I was something like that. Now, and I don't even think they played Indy proper. I think they played around.
Oh.
They were saying Indiana as a whole.
Oh, shit.
They haven't played anywhere in the state in that long.
Wow.
Now, it wasn't just the fact that it was the 22nd. It was, I missed them on the last album cycle because Plagues did not hit with me right away. It took a little bit. And in a way, the album never really has hit with me. But I dig it. It's a mood. It's a vibe. Similar story, different experience because the album's better than this. But it's like Saint Anger. You got to be in the mood.
Yeah, okay, I buy that.
You know, a lot of people piss on Saint Anger from like the Metallica album. But for Brando, for me, it's like I don't hate the album. I don't love it. But there's something I got to be in the right mood for it. I've got to be like, you know, if I want to listen to the album, I got to be like either having just watched some kind of monster and I'm still feeling it, or I'm like just in that mood, and it's not very often.
Or one of those crazy mashups you showed me.
Yeah, exactly. But with Plagues, if I get random bits of songs now and again, that's cool. Because, I mean, I like a lot of songs on there, but to just dive right in from the intro and go in, I don't do it very often. And I missed that tour. That was the 14 tour, the 2014 tour. And I didn't go, and I kind of regretted it. And like, especially when after seeing the set list and having gone in 2008 with you, you know, like we teased before, 10 years ago, I invited Tony, a mutual friend, a former bandmate of ours. He got me into the band. And I just was like, dude, it's perfect. You got me into the band. You've never seen him. I've never seen him. Let's go, man.
Have an experience.
Exactly. And then he kind of backed out. And he said, I'll still pay for the ticket, though, you know, since you went to the trouble. And I'm like, well, I got this extra ticket, you know. And I talked to Rob, and he goes, yeah, I would. I'm not calling off for that. Because he was on seconds.
Yeah.
You know, he goes, and he's like, and he goes, I'm not sure if I would really want to go see him. He goes, I like him, but I don't know if I'd really want to go. I'm like, crap. So then I'm like, well, fuck. What about Nate? Maybe he'd want to go. And I got 2 tickets, and maybe Sarah could go too. And I'm like, hey, dude, I got these tickets, and they're free. Just pay for our gas up there.
Sold.
And then, so yeah, we went to go see, and that was Matt Barlow. He was the 3rd lead singer of Ice-Darth. And then he left after 10 years, and then he came back for a stint, and that was his first show back. That was the first time that I saw them. I saw them again in 10 with Barlow on the Escape the Studio tour, and then I saw them again in 2012 with now Stu, after Matt retired. Stu Block is the he's not new lead singer anymore.
No, because he's been there since Dystopia.
He has
that was his first album.
He joined in 2011, and now it's 2018. So he's going on like
nearing 10 years.
He is the second longest running
behind Barlow
singer. Yeah, and you know he's fucking fantastic. But I one thing that like really hyped me up is that when they released the first single,
Seven Head Door.
I think that was it, and I was like, holy crap!
You sent it to me.
I sent it to you. I sent it to Blaine. I sent it to Joe. I sent it to everybody. I'm like, dudes. This is bro. This is on another level, bro. Now look, I mean, and it was because it's like Ice-Darth is this awesome. Not a lot of people know about them, but in a way, they're just like. I've said this so many times. I said this just today. You take Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, and Metallica, and they had a baby, and then you put a Kiss shirt on them.
Yes.
You know, and it's like, yeah, they're not Kiss, but they're fans of Kiss. So there's this enough showmanship there. There's enough of the storytelling,
and it's subtle. They do it brilliantly.
But like you get the Iron Maiden guitars, the gallops, all that. You get the Metallica thrashiness. You get the Judas Priest power metal,
the fucking vocals,
the falsettos and all that stuff. So it's like it's this perfect amalgamation of sounds, and the band is not big. They from the and this is kind of saying what John said to us, and it's true. From day one, they've gone and they've grown by word of mouth, by going here, playing a kick-ass show. The people who went to that show go tell their friends, and then the next time they come, they bring more people.
You brought your friends.
Exactly.
We're gonna get into that because you actually asked me.
I did.
If I wanted to go again, like 10 years later, like kind of celebrating the anniversary.
Well, because I love the album. I love the new one that came out. And I'm like, I'm not missing them this time. I love this album. They're going to be playing songs from this album. We've got to go.
Didn't we talk about it on a podcast a little bit? Didn't you and I like review the new Eisters? Was that during the Metalcast? Would that have been around the time?
It might have been. Because I want to say the album came out like a month prior to that. But what it was, though, is that I definitely wanted to go, and I was so certain. I'm like, well, I'm going to be going to Chicago because they always play Chicago. And I'm like, well, if I want to be in Chicago, I'll just hit Nate up, and if it's late, I'll just crash at his place before I come back.
Bingo.
And if he wants to go, dude, I'll like whatever. So yeah, I totally asked you, and then I remember like you had said yes. But like the first time you heard anything off the new album, other than what I sent you, was in the car with me one day.
Yeah.
After a doctor's appointment that I went to, that you came down here to do some podcast stuff, and then we were jamming on it, and you were digging it.
Yes, the album immediately spoke to me. Like I got it, and here's an interesting thing, and John talked about that the VIP, and again we'll get into that later about the Incorruptible not having a theme. It makes that album because they can play with multiple themes and tell multiple stories and hook me in all these different ways. And you go from songs like Black Flag to The Veil to Raven Wing to fucking Seven-Headed Whore, which is a banger of a song. I mean, that's thrash incarnate. You know what I'm saying? Like, they get it. Great Heathen Army is an amazing opener for them. I mean, like, there's so many things to talk about from that album specifically that I was like, fuck, these guys are just, they've got it. Like, they've found their mojo with Stu. They're firing on all cylinders. They've got new guys, you told me, which I didn't know that at the time. And being an Iced Earth fan, I felt kind of ashamed that I didn't know that all these changes had happened. But, it was just like, I enjoyed Plagues, but it was like you. I didn't connect with it as much. There's maybe 3 or 4 songs that really give it to me. Like, it pushed me to the next level of like, fuck yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And Dystopia is not the same. I think Dystopia for me was more like a, wow, this new talent they've found is showing off, and here's all the things you can do.
Dystopia is honestly in my top 3 albums.
Really?
Yeah. To me, the 3, and it's hard to put them in any order, but it's the Dark Saga. I'll just go in chronological. The Dark Saga is Something Wicked, This Way It Comes, and then it is Dystopia. And now Incorruptible it's up there, but then it also has to contend with Horror Show, which is an amazing record.
Oh,
so it's like at that point now you're just like saying like now you're arguing with yourself too much.
Apples to oranges.
Exactly.
Man. They're all great.
And see, and it's quite easily put that Horror Show was in Dystopia's spot.
Really?
Like as
you
far
could
as
have argued.
Well, like for like a top 3, like before Dystopia came out, it was like Horror Show. But then it's like after Dystopia, it just that album punches you in the balls. And I really dug this album. I wanted you to go, and so I had told a few people at work, or of course our good friend Dick Blaine-Tyner from Podcastrophe. He was there
Every Thursday on the Journey into Comics Network.
Exactly.
Cheap Pop.
And and then a coworker of ours, Joe Grimes, he appeared on Journey to Wrestling last year.
Every other Wednesday on Journey into Comics.
There you go.
Cheap pop.
plug, man. Cheap plug. And it was really cool because they kind of came in and the local band, Wolf Tooth.
Wow.
Dude, they were amazing.
Okay, so we're going to back it up a little bit. We did like the before the show.
We are okay, so we are going to do that. But I just want to talk about Wolf Tooth for a second.
Let's go.
We can jump around a little bit because
Sure. I'm into it. I'm going to let you kind of lead this one
because Wolf Tooth
I'm just too excited to talk about everything, and I'm just like, the best way to do it is chronologically so I can remember.
Well, and we'll get there.
Sure, fair enough.
Fuck it, I'll help you. See, the thing is that like when they announced that a local Indiana act was going to be on the bill, and it was Wolf Tooth, I looked into them and listened, and I'm like, instantly sounded like Corrosion to me. But then you said it cool is like, or said it cool. You said it best, and it was cool that like they kind of sound like a sword a little bit.
I mean, they had the style. It was driven that way. The higher up vocals. I thought that dude was going to be a growler. I was certain he was going to be like that Corrosion sound, the deeper, a little bit grungier vocal. And he was up really high in his voice. Not like he wasn't falsetto, obviously, but he was up there. And it immediately made me think of when I saw Trivium in 2006. The Sword opened for them. Well, they were one of three bands. It was Sanctity, The Sword, and Protest the Hero, and then Trivium played. But The Sword stood out to me because while they were fantastic musicians, their lead singer looked down the whole time and never looked at the crowd once. They just played their whole set with him looking straight the fuck down. It was weird. It was just one of those energy things, you know? They were jamming for their own purpose, and we weren't a part of that energy. And it was still a great show, you know? But seeing Wolf Tooth, they had that energy, and then they had that energy to connect me to it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I was doing this the whole set.
Yeah, dude.
Every fucking song got me doing this, and I was like, oh, shit, I'm headbanging. I think I even said to you, like, I don't really go to shows like this anymore. I'm going to shows to be at the show to play a show, so it's different. You know, headbanging has got to be limited because I got to save my energy for the stage or whatever. But then, like, tonight I'm wilding out, and it's like, oh, fuck, I forgot to headbang. I forgot how to headbang. My neck hurts. Shit.
Dude, like, their sound was just very crunchy. It was just very riffy.
Yeah.
And I dug it, man. It's you know, I thought, like, I'm actually thinking about picking up their album.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, because it's coming out on CD, but it's also coming out on vinyl.
That's cool.
So I'm thinking about picking it up on vinyl.
I bet they sound really good on vinyl.
I bet they do.
Because they sounded really good live.
Yeah.
And they impressed as a local act from Richmond, Indiana. Mm-hmm. Random reference there. I worked with a lady who was from Richmond, Indiana. Like, frequently visited. Her family is still from Richmond. She probably knows those fucking dudes.
Maybe.
Like, I worked with her at T-Tac Photography. Shout out Jess. She's not listening, but anyways.
Yeah. All right. So, after I invited you to the show, they announced the VIP after that. Now, normally when they're going to do a VIP, they say, here's your tickets, and then here's the VIP stuff. But this time, they're all like, hey, man, we got the show. And then later on, they're like, I guess you guys want some VIPs, so we're going to do some VIP stuff. And our actual swag, like the big prizes for the VIP, are not even here yet. They're going to be shipped after the show due to a delay in production. I got that email like just yesterday. And we're going to be getting a beer stein.
Stoked.
A mug. And we're getting a pirate doubloon.
Love it.
And that'll match your Black Flag shirt that you got.
Yes. The whole get-up will, actually, because even it's the Black Flag poster and everything. It's kind of their theme for this leg is the pirate.
Well, yeah,
theme.
well, because they did the like the video and everything.
Yeah, and then like obviously the Stein fits that theme. So,
our laminates, which are in the car,
we hope they are. I think they're both in the
backseat somewhere,
or they're in the cup holder.
No, mine's not. I want to say I threw mine in the back. I didn't see it when I was grabbing my stuff because I was like looking around in there, dude. Like we get home and I don't stay up this late anymore.
No,
I'm running off of like pure adrenaline and a little bit of caffeine that was in that Mountain Dew ice.
We haven't even got to the good part of this shit.
Not yet, but like okay, so we're gonna do the VIP meet and greet, and I've done this twice.
Never done it before.
And so I've talked to John Schaefer, who is like the lead guy, the main. He is Iced Earth. You know, no offense to anybody else in the band, but they could all go, and he's going to be there, and that thing's going to continue going because that's his his dream.
It is his entity.
It's his baby. And, I've got to tell him what his music did for me.
Yeah.
I've already got to tell him that. But I don't know what to say to him sometimes.
It's weird.
And it's funny because, there were only 10 people that did our VIP. And all the other ones I did, there was lines of people. But our laminates and our posters were in there. We stood outside in the cold for about an hour. I mean, granted, we got there about 20 minutes early, so it's still not the longest that I've waited.
Fair enough.
But it was a little bit more chillier.
My nipples could have cut through anything at that point.
We left our coats in the car because we're like, I don't want to leave my coat anywhere.
And it's going to be hot.
And it's going to be hot, and I don't want to wear my coat because, dude, I was already sweating wearing 2 shirts because of the shirt I got from the merch.
Yeah.
I put it on, and by the time I started, I was sweating.
Cooking.
So we left our coats, and we had to walk all the way around the damn building. They wouldn't let us walk
20 feet through
This
the
is
building.
a big lobby.
It's ridiculous.
They have this really big lobby, and they have a couple different venues in this one venue.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so they got one upstairs, one downstairs. I don't know how it's all laid out. I know Blaine has been to, I think, both of them.
Both. He's been to an Egyptian Room show and Deluxe. And he was actually just there, last week when we were all seeing Black Panther, he was on his way to go see Stone Sour there. Mm-hmm. So that would have been a hell of a show.
Yeah, hell yeah. So they wouldn't let us walk through the fucking building. We had to walk all the way around the building and then stand in line.
Starting Nate's perpetually freezing.
Dude, it was chilly, and we got in there, and I kind of felt rushed getting through the line a little bit as they were signing stuff. I shook his hand. I said, "Hey, cool shirt." He said, "Thanks." And then he looked at me and shook his head, and I'm just like, "Hi, Stu."
Yeah, just move along.
And then we went down, and I talked to, and I told you that there's some new members of the band. Of course, Luke has been in the band, I guess, since 2012, so he's been there for a while now. He's been there for almost 6 years.
He's not that new.
He was a young blood when he joined, because he actually opened for Iced Earth on the Dystopia tour. I think it was a Dystopia tour over in Europe.
Oh.
He was in a band with his brother called Fury UK. And when he got the call and he auditioned and he got it, he's also in a band. They reformed Fury UK and changed the sound, and they're called Absolva. So he's still doing the band with his brother, but it's different. So he's been in the band for a good while. When I saw the band in 2014, it was before the other bass player left. And then when I saw them in 2012, wait, did I say 2014?
Yeah.
My bad, 2012, guys. I missed the 14 show.
Regrettably.
Yeah. So Troy Seeley was still with them. He was the lead guitar player, and he's actually from our neck of the woods. He's up in he's from Delphi.
Yeah.
And Blaine's dad knows him. Joe's dad knows him.
Actually, Joe's dad had him work for him, right?
It was either I want to say he took lessons or he got lessons. He taught. I don't know, man. But he's from the area. My wife went to school with his niece.
That's cool.
And it's funny because when I talked to him at the 12 show, he's like, "So where you guys come from?" We said we're from like around Indy area, Frankfort, Indiana. He goes, "No shit, I'm from Delphi." And it's that cool little thing. But
was that like a stone cold stunner for you? You just were not expecting that?
No, I was not.
You're like, Delphi? Wow, that's like right up the road.
Like literally, yeah. And he was like, "Man, small fucking world,"
Really? Yeah.
And then, he ended up leaving the band. I want to say his son needs some extra care, some extra at-home care, and whatever system he had in place for that
fell through.
It fell through, or is no longer available.
I think we talked about this. You said something like you thought maybe it was they had something in place for while he was on tours, and then it wasn't going to work while he was on tour, but it was going to work opposite that schedule or something.
I don't know how it ended up
weird.
working out, but he ended up stepping back from the band, and then they got this younger kid, and literally this kid, he looks like a baby.
He does. Yeah.
He like everybody else in the band looks gruff and unkept and grizzly, and then he looks like
Babyface McGee.
Like Do you still shave your arms?
Yeah.
Okay. It looks like he waxed his.
Waxed his arms,
I'm not saying he did.
but like he was
Like-
extra silky.
Extra silky.
Yeah, I haven't in like a week.
Well, see, I could
So-
tell you had a little bit, so that's why I was
Yeah.
wondering, because I know you used to do the swim team.
Yeah.
And you used to give yourself a little bit of extra.
A little advantage, yeah. You also got to wear the penis hat. Well, I mean, really, that's what it is.
Yeah.
You're just shrinking your dome down.
Did it ever pull your face and go?
It could some days because it like sucks back and you're like, or
Anyway, so I got to talk to Luke, the new bass player, just a little bit. And then we did another line, and we got a picture taken with my phone. The last time they actually had a picture, and then they sent you a link.
yeah, they had a camera there.
Camera. And if I'd have known, I would have brought a camera. But it is what it is. The picture's fine.
Yeah, looks great.
I mean, the picture on smartphones now are
Great.
comparable to point and shoots almost.
Yes, they are.
So we did the picture. They made us line up again, and then they said, "All right, guys, you got some time. If anybody asks us any questions," and I was like, "Huh?"
Stone Cold Stunner again.
And Bill, because
Questions? I thought we were just going to shoot the
and
shit,
nobody
John.
was saying anything.
He said that to me, though. When I went through the line, I was trying to bullshit with him a little bit. I was like, this guy and I play guitar together, whatever.
Yeah.
And we used to play in a band together, and we did 1776. It was one of the things because I just really fucking love that song musically. It's awesome, or whatever. And he was like, "Yeah, man, cool. We're gonna bullshit after this, though. Like, we'll have time for that." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So same as you. When they came over and they're like, "So does anybody have any questions?" I was like, "Fuck, is this a press fucking junket? Did I miss something?"
Well, and it's funny because when there's a few things I wanted to ask him personally.
Yeah.
Not like about his personal life, about like things that I had questions about.
Sure.
And when he said that, everyone was like, it's almost like everybody at the same time got nervous.
Well, yeah.
And that's just the thing is that like you have like the band that you just paid $75 extra plus service fees. And I did twice to stand, and now they're standing, and you can ask them and you talk to them, and it's like even on the other meet and greets, I've said a few things to each person, and it kind of went on, and that's kind of what I did here, but less than that. But what I got out of this was so much more.
The overall experience or just the VIP experience?
The ability to just talk to. Because once people started talking, then it started like getting less like
clammy,
like less clammy, and it became because I realized I'm like holy crap, and then I realized I was nervous. I'm like, why am I nervous? So I said, yeah, I got one, and I'm like, he has explained before the deal that they signed with Century Media back in 91. It wasn't a very good deal, and he doesn't own the physical rights to the first 6 albums. And Sony bought Century Media, so he never will.
Yeah.
Like Sony's not going to give it to him.
Damn.
And then after he left Century in 2002, he signed with SPV. And they were on there for 3 records. They did Glorious Burden, Framing Armageddon, and Crucible of Man. And I need those for my vinyl collection.
Was it Crucible of the Wicked?
Huh?
Wasn't it Crucible of the Wicked?
Crucible of Man.
It was, man?
It was a Something Wicked. They did the Something Wicked This Way Comes album, which had the trilogy of songs that at the end that was the story, the Something Wicked story.
Prophecy, Birth, and Curse.
Yes. And then the last 2 albums, or not the last 2, it got expanded into a 2-album story, Something Wicked Part 1, Framing Armageddon, Something Wicked Part 2, the Crucible of Man.
Gotcha. I always called it Crucible of the Wicked. I'm an idiot. It happens.
It's a good thing you didn't say that to him in person.
No, I didn't.
So I need those records to complete my collection. If you've been listening to Game Addicts, I've been saying I haven't been buying a lot of games lately. I've been buying more vinyl and getting into vinyl collecting for music. I got a turntable. I got monitors. I got a very small collection, but these are
nice.
just stuff that I want.
It's like my greatest hits. If Nate's greatest hits could exist on vinyl, you've got them, buddy.
Well, it's like, I want to get all the Metallica records. I want to get all the Iced Earth records. Those are my 2 favorite bands. It's like the The next band that was, this is my band, was Iced Earth. After, and that was the Megadeth years, the Pantera stuff. I love those bands. Iron Maiden still, but no, they was the Metallica was. This is my band. This is my music. And then Iced Earth was the next stamp of that. It was like this.
This is absolutely mine.
Exactly. You know.
Do you remember the first song you heard from Iced Earth?
God of Thunder.
See, the first song I remember hearing is Phantom.
That was track 2 on there. My first exposure was Tony.
Yeah.
And it was that
Same.
it was that black burnt CD. I think I have that somewhere.
Wow.
I don't know where. I need to keep it. I need to find it somewhere and like frame it.
Is that your CD case over there, or is that movies?
That CD cases, but it's not in there. It's somewhere else. Trust me, it's somewhere else.
You're like, I'm looking.
But the first 4 tracks on that CD was Iced Earth, and it was there. It was the cover of God of Thunder,
Off a tribute to the gods.
from Kiss. It was Phantom of the Opera Ghost, which is funny because we went and saw Phantom of the Opera around the time I heard that, and I'm like, wow, this sounds like it'd be a cool Phantom of the Opera song. And Tony looked at me and goes,
It is.
Yeah, funny you say that. It's called Phantom of the Opera Ghost. I'm like, that's why.
There you go.
And
Spot.
then it was Question of Heaven from
Awesome.
Dark Saga, and then Pure Evil. And I want to say,
That's one missing from the set tonight.
oh, was that another one?
I wish they would have played Pure Evil.
Anywho, so I got to getting those 3 vinyl. Glorious Burden goes for $100. Ow.
Painful.
Last summer when they were doing press stuff for the Incorruptible, they did a video with Central Media where they went with John into a record store, and they found records that mean a lot to him or some of his favorite stuff. Kiss, Maiden,
Yeah.
Metallica. Like Ride the Lightning for him was like, whoa,
Yeah.
he absolutely loved it. And then the last one, he goes, and actually this dude over here found it. He goes, but Glorious Burden. He goes, and I actually don't have this. He goes, I don't know if it's hidden somewhere in the archive, but I don't think I have this, so I'm actually buying this.
Wow.
So he bought his own record, and to find out that record is actually pretty fucking rare to come across, and to order it from somebody who knows what they have,
yeah.
it's pricey. The other 2 are not they're about maybe $60. That's a lot to shell down for vinyl, dude. Still,
Yeah, it is.
the most that I've paid so far is $38,
That's not bad.
and that was for Dystopia, and that's again top 3.
Yeah.
When I was getting a vinyl, I'm like, I gotta get Dystopia. I've got to get Dystopia, because like I cannot not have Dystopia.
No, absolutely not.
I'm missing now the first album, and then the 3 SPV, and then the tribute to the gods, which that's not considered an actual album release.
Just like all covers.
Well, just like Days of Purgatory, it's not considered an actual album release.
Because it wasn't a studio album officially.
Yes.
The technicalities.
So I asked John if it was a similar deal, like Century, or if he had more rights to that. And then he said, he kind of shot me down for a second, where he's like, "That's a long story, and I really don't want to get into that." And I told him I completely understand, because I'm collecting the vinyl, and I know the Century Media has done reprints, and we haven't seen any reprints of this of the SPV. And he looked at me and said, "It's coming."
That's awesome.
And I'm like, oh,
That might be where I start collecting
because
the Iced Earth.
Holy crap! I mean, like him saying that, like I don't have to go out and rush out to try and find these to satisfy my collector bug, because I know they're coming. I can wait. I can play the patient game and pick up those albums later for $25 when they come back out.
Good things come to those who wait, Brando.
Exactly. And then, a few more questions were asked, and then I got to ask another big question.
Yeah.
Are you planning a Demons tour?
Oh, man, did you get an answer of answers?
And what's funny is another dude said, yes, good question.
Yeah, Demons and Wizards is Hansi from Blind Guardian and John Schaefer's other band. That they work together to it's like a super group type project where they just send each other shit.
Yeah, well, it's like John writing the music, and it's Hansi doing the vocal melodies and doing the words. So, and then some of the stuff that he does, it's not necessarily something that he's like, this is like, because when he writes music, sometimes he'll write it and go, I'm not sure if that's Iced Earth, and he'll put it in another folder or put it over here. And then, and sometimes that gets used for the projects like Demons. He'll revisit stuff and come back to it. But basically, he said yes. He said minimalistically, at the very least, I want to hit the major markets with Hansi.
Yeah, but he also has big plans and ideas.
Well, the major markets, he said, were L.A., Chicago, New York, which, count me in, bro.
Chicago, we're there.
If you're doing a full-blown Demon set, I am there in a heartbeat. And then he's like, in 2021, it will be, did he say the 30th year anniversary of the first tour of Europe with Blind Guardian.
Mm-hmm.
Now that would, I don't believe it was his first tour of Europe. It was his first tour of Europe
with Blind Guardian,
because I want to say it was a Storm Rider era that they went out with Guardian.
92
and so
91.
Yeah, so he wants to do a dual headline tour and have the closing at the very end do a Demon set with a mixture of the members of the band
to play the songs.
Oh fuck!
There. If that happens, we're there.
Fuck yeah.
Well, we are there.
Yeah, I mean, we are completely there. I mean.
Well, we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. All right, so, that kind of ended. You asked a question about about cell phones.
Yeah, because John did the whole, like he was talking about nowadays people can just throw up a video on YouTube and get famous off of it because of your hard work or whatever, and he has bigger fish to fry or whatever. Of course, I asked a very Easter eggy question, and I said specifically exactly this. Are you going to do anything like what Danzig did, where they locked the phones up at the Misfits concert? Because that's what they did at the last couple of Misfits shows. You literally get this thing, they give it to you, you put your phone in it, and then you have this key, and you have your phone in this case the whole time. And the only way to unlock it is the kiosks, which are not in the actual venue. So you have to go outside of the, where the music is taking place to check your phone. And actually some places also offered a locker to put your phone in. So it just seemed like one of those things, like maybe that's a way to quell that. Maybe it's a way to really get people going crazy. One thing I noticed, people were doing a lot of video taking tonight and not as into it as I think maybe they could have been. I was guilty of it as well, but you get caught up in the moment, man.
I never took my phone out while Iced Earth was on set.
I did.
Or I didn't even take pictures. But, after that, we kind of broke, and we ended up downstairs, met some cool people, had some cool conversations with some longtime fans and some, first-timers seeing the band. So then we get in and rush to the damn merch table because I want that damn vinyl.
Have to have it. It's gorgeous, by the way.
It's that... basically what they did is that they released, it's a vinyl release of the Incorruptible album, but it's an art book. It's a collectible art book. They had an artist. I'm trying to remember if his name is Tattoo Dave or whoever. Like,
I'll look it up.
I want to say that's what John said his name is, or that's what they call him. But they did artwork for every single song, and some of that artwork is almost album cover worthy. Especially like the Great Heathen Army. And that's one of the shirts that I got was actually the Great Heathen Army because I really dig the whole Viking getup, and I really felt like that could almost have been the album cover as the Great Heathen Army.
It says artwork designed by the dynamic duo of David Newman Stump, pencil illustrations, and Roy Young, the color illustrations.
So David is Tattoo Dave, yeah.
Ah. Bingo.
All right, so in this vinyl is a 2 10-inch see-through orange. It was released in gold and red online, but the orange was exclusive to the tour. It was 100 set aside for Europe, 100 set aside for North America, minus 73. So obviously they didn't sell all of them in Europe, which is surprising.
Totally.
So it's total 200 worldwide.
So I'm curious if by the time they get to Bottom Lounge, they'll still have.
It makes you wonder. They are a bit expensive.
It is $75 to get one,
Yes.
but worth it. It's literally the most amazing vinyl I've ever held, just because it's also an art book and it's so well done.
Well, you also get the CD with it too.
Crazy.
And you know, I've already got the CD, but it's just an added bonus. You know, you get 2 versions of the album. You get one you take with you, and one you can throw on your turntable. But I had to have that, and of course, I walked up there and I said, "I want this." He goes. That's $75. I said, "You can have anything but my firstborn."
Yep.
And then he goes, "Does that be it?" And I said, "I think I want a shirt." I had a hard time deciding. They had a couple of different shirt designs that they use, the artwork from the art book.
Yeah.
You know, this one, you got the Black Flag
Awesome.
design. And then they also had the Clear the Way, a song that John wrote about the Irish Brigade of the Battle of Fredericksburg from the Civil War, a little harken back to the Gloria Spurgeon era where, you know, he wrote about Gettysburg on that one. And now he's it was kind of cool to kind of harken back to that era and get back into that mindset to write another historical thing. But so I decided on this one, and I actually later on after the show decided I want a tour shirt.
Just so you can have a commemoration of the dates.
Well, yes, and that's kind of what it is, because I haven't actually. The last tour shirt I bought was 10 years ago.
When we went and saw him on the Framing Armageddon tour?
Yeah, and well, no, it actually wasn't Framing. It was called the Summer Slaughter.
That's right, Summer Slaughter tour.
And the cover was Set playing the guitar, and that's the cover they used for the festival, the Wicked.
Yep.
DVD. But yeah, because the other two times they was with it was like VIP. I got shirts with the VIP, so I didn't need to buy a shirt.
Hell yeah.
So I don't have Dystopia shirts.
Well, that kind of sucks.
Kind of, yeah, because they don't sell them anymore.
Oh, that double sucks.
Because I mean, they're not a huge band, so they can't have a huge. They're not like Metallica, where they have huge backlogs of shirts for every era, or every album. So. It's, you know, the show was awesome. Go if you want to go right into the show. We already talked about Wolftooth.
They were great, and then a really interesting second band,
Kill Ritual.
a lot of old dudes.
When I heard them on Spotify, I expected them to be younger.
Chuck Billy Ray Cyrus.
Chuck Billy Ray Cyrus was there. He was. They were pretty good though for old man. They were killing it.
They were rocking out, having fun too. Even if things got fucked up, they were not taking themselves too seriously.
Dude, the poor guitar player stepped on his chord twice.
Jake the Shredder Roberts.
Yeah, he looked kind of like Jake Snake Roberts.
Old Cass Roberts.
A little bit like Big Cass too. And like, I mean, they sounded badass. And I remember like looking up and just hearing part of the sound go, and he was like looking around, like he's still playing. There's no sound. He's like, plugged it back in and kept, went back to it. And then the second time he did it, was the look of pure defeat.
Just like, oh fuck, I've done it twice in a show.
And that's when he went, and then threaded it through the strap. I'm like,
there you go. That's the veteran move to do.
And then the next band was a band called Sanctuary, and this band was actually an older band that morphed into Nevermore. The lead singer,
Warren Dane.
Worrell Dane?
Worrell Dane, not Warren, Worrell.
And then it was Loomis, Jeff Loomis. I called him Billy Loomis.
Bill. You just said Bill.
I said Billy.
Oh, you said I couldn't hear you.
Billy Loomis, he's a belt maker from Europe, and he's a maker of Belt Performance.
Oh.
I'm a huge belt mark, and then I'm on belttalk.com on the forums. So Loomis.
You just switched him up.
He's the Loomis. Like I'm actually more of a fan of him than I am of
Jeff Loomis.
And I'm not putting anything like Jeff Loomis, great guitar player.
It's weird too because I saw Jeff Loomis do a private workshop.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was at Sweetwater several years ago.
Cool.
Yeah.
But that's just when my brain associates the name Loomis, it goes to belts. So when I said Billy at the show, it was like you guys looked at me like Jeff, and I went, I just totally did the belt maker. Okay, fine, cool. And then so those guys ended up forming Nevermore, but like after Nevermore broke up, Dane and the other members, not Loomis, a couple other forming members. I want to say it was the drummer and then the guitar player, or the other guitar player. They reformed Sanctuary and they did a new album. And then right before this tour, literally right before Christmas. Oh no, it actually might have been January, because I want to say they were actually on tour.
Shit.
They were either on tour or they're getting ready to go on tour right before he died. And yeah, he passed away. And then they got some other dude from Witherfall
Yeah.
to fill in, and he did great. They kicked ass. They played some older songs. We listened to a little bit of them yesterday.
Yeah, man.
Just to
They
get
did.
familiar?
Future Tense was one of the songs in their set. They
That-
closed with it.
Yeah.
And that was funny because I kind of made the joke, like, they wrote the song and it's like the lines like past tense, the future tense, something, 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 and then what will the 90s hold, right?
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I wonder when they released the song Future Tense that they realized that as soon as it came out, it would then be past tense, you know?
So it was during the Wolf Tooth set that Dick and Joe found us up front and came and joined us, and they ended up leaving before Iced Earth was done.
About midway through.
It was after 10:30 when they left.
Yeah.
And I want to say Iced Earth, when they were getting ready to play the last two songs, it was 11:08.
Yeah.
Like that. So these poor guys have to work tomorrow. So
And they worked today.
Yeah, I didn't have to do any of that.
You're not doing none of that shit.
No.
You threw a dart at a dartboard
I did, dude.
and nailed the date.
I did, because I didn't know the date. I didn't know. I just figured you and me go see him in Chicago.
Yeah.
I figured that was going to be it.
And you said, hopefully, that was
Was
me.
that your water bottle?
No, it was the phone.
Oh man,
it-
that was loud, man.
It fell and hit the board.
Oh well,
Sorry.
don't do that, man. We this thing is precious, because we can't do this again.
We keep almost fucking it up.
All right, so in October when we scheduled the PTOs, I didn't know what the dates were. I didn't know where they were going to fall. I just heard they were going to start in late February and go through March. And I looked at the schedule. The March dates were pretty much packed, and I'm like, fuck, because I'm like, they're either going to play Chicago early or late. The last few times it's been late.
Well, this time on the tour, it's the end. You didn't
Right.
know that at the time, though.
Well, I mean, I assumed it would be
Yeah.
near either the end or close to, because I want to say on Dystopia it was like the second to last. I think they had one more stop.
Shit.
All right, so I was like, well, I'll just go for the last weekend in February. If I don't get it, I'll have a 4-day weekend, and then I'm gonna call off. And then when they announced the date, I'm like,
Wait a minute.
holy, really?
Nailed it.
And then I went and I ran and double checked. I'm like, yes.
The stars aligned yet again.
And I said, Nate, we're going to Indy.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And you're like, oh yeah, no Chicago. I said, yeah, no, I've got this date off. We're going to Indy.
Yeah.
You're coming down. We're doing some podcasts. We're going to Indy. And
Fuck
that's
yeah.
how it worked out, because their set was awesome. I was a little spoiled because I'm a glutton and went and looked at the Europe sets.
Setlist.fm.
Yeah, so like I knew, like it was fun because I was like, are they gonna do anything different?
Yeah.
And they kind of did, but that was because they moved some songs around. They didn't play a couple of them.
Yeah.
And I think it was for time constraints, because I think they had a few issues.
Little technical issues with their trigger machine for their backing tracks.
I think that's what it was. That's what it sounded like, and they didn't start right away. And then I think they were getting close to where they were like, yeah, we need to
Wrap this up soon.
Well, they were just like, yeah, we need to cut a few. And so there was actually a conversation with Stu and John on stage where it seems like there was some confusion
On what song was getting played.
Well, because Stu was like leading into a song called Raven Wing, and then it looked like John was like, wait, what?
Yeah, he was. I just noticed that, like, Stu said, anybody with a spiritual guide or whatever. John wrote this song. It's very personal, and like in the middle of him saying it's very personal, he made eye contact with John, and John was just like, I'm not really sure if you're wanting to say what you're saying right now, bro. Maybe you should take a look at the set. And then like they both kind of looked down, got in each other's ears, and there was a little bit of a laugh, and they departed. And then Stu played it cool because he's a straight up G like that.
Yeah, he said something like, he tried to tell me a joke.
It wasn't funny.
It wasn't funny. You need to work on that.
I'm not that good either.
I'm not that good either. No, dude, their set was killer. They played a lot of songs. Like,
Try to be spoiler free in case anybody.
yeah, no, I'm not going to do that because the tour's still going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially if anybody finds this that is a fan of the band.
Are you gonna share this in Podcasting Stone? Is that
I
bad
might.
form?
I don't know. Maybe I'll ask.
Yeah, that'd be a cool thing. I like those dudes, and this is like almost an homage to their show.
Yeah, well, because I like what they're doing.
Totally.
As a podcast creator myself, I would be hard pressed. I really wouldn't like. They're doing something for the community.
Absolutely.
And it's like, that's awesome, but I don't know if I could keep it going with other stuff I have going on. With me having a gaming podcast, this podcast,
Wrestling podcast.
wrestling. I can gush on it for a while. Absolutely. I mean, we've done it a couple times here on the show, the Metalcast 3 included.
Go back and listen. That's JIC 137. You can get a little more in-depth detail of me and you's love for Iced Earth.
Even more so than tonight.
Correct.
Yeah, but the set was great. They touched on all different eras. Of course, they played a bunch of songs from the new record. I mean, they touched on Night of the Storm Rider era, Something Wicked era,
Burnt Offerings era. A
Yeah,
little bit.
yeah,
I mean, they
yeah.
played a little bit of everything.
Dark Saga era was in there too. So, not being song specific here. So, I mean, that's just when you're going to go see Iced Earth that has a big catalog, just expect to hear
A wide array of their songs.
exactly, man. And so the set was over, and I'm like, I'm going to go. Oh crap! So they were throwing picks.
Yeah, it was really weird because, and I said this to you earlier, that when Sanctuary was playing, in my head I was like, man, Larry Rutledge is right there. And he and Jeff Loomis, did Nevermore. And obviously they were in Sanctuary together in the OG days, and now they're this band again. And he's throwing picks out, and I thought, man, if I could get one of Larry's picks, that'd be cool. And I saw one, and I tried to get it, and it was on a dude's foot, and bad form. I didn't want to grab his foot or whatever. But, like, almost towards the end of their set, he just pokes me and hands me this pick, and I'm like, fucking thank you. Fucking cool. Thanks, man. Really? He's like, yeah, man, you're into them. And I was like, oh, cool. And I just, stashed it or whatever. So then it was like in that moment, it was like, well, I got one pick. Wonder if I can get at least one more. And of all the other people I would want to get a pick, it would have to be John Schaefer's. But if I got John Schaefer's pick, I couldn't keep that in my possession because you are the biggest Iced Earth fan I know. You're one of the major reasons I'm into the band at all. You know way more about their catalog and their story and stuff that I am naive to. And I was just like, man, if that could ever happen, and if I could just give Brando a pick from John Schaefer, that would be the fucking coolest thing.
Yeah, dude, it's badass.
Yeah, because he threw it like right at us.
And it went
Through your fingers.
Yeah,
it
like
hit me in the palm.
because I had my hand up, and I literally saw it. Like, it didn't even touch my hand; it just went right through.
You were like,
I
no.
went like that. I was like, no, and then it bounced off yours, and you're like,
I was not gonna give up until I got one, and of course I didn't give up.
I mean, it's badass. It's got the logo on one side, and then it's got like a little kind of outline.
I want you to send me a picture of that side of it, the set side, so I can try to do a thing with that. But
Hell yeah. But got that, and then I went over the merch table, and I'm like, because I'm thinking I want a tour shirt. Of course, I was fighting myself because I kind of wanted the Clear the Way shirt too, because I just like the way it looks. I like the 4-leaf clover on the back.
it's green, it's bright, it's different.
Yeah, but then I'm like, no, I think I'm gonna do that. But then also, I'm looking at my wallet, and like, man, you gotta get a shirt too.
Yeah, you were too kind. That was a very sweet
dude, you
gesture.
gave me a fucking pick.
Dude, but that
Dude,
wasn't
this
the
is
point
John's
of it.
pick.
But that wasn't the point of me giving you the pick. Wasn't to get a shirt. Like I
No,
gave you that
no.
because you're my fucking brother, and you
dude,
gave me this experience.
Okay, so I was looking at my bills.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm looking at because I got change after I bought the shirt and then the vinyl, and I took out extra money.
Thankfully.
today, yeah, because of the damn parking. But I got change from the parking.
yeah,
I got change from getting that, and I had a 20, 2 5s. I had a 20, 2 5s. I had $60, 2 shirts.
yeah.
What else am I gonna do with that money? I'm like, I don't need 2 shirts.
Well, you would have had 3 at that point.
Well, 3. I don't need 2 more shirts. I'm like,
Fair
fuck it. You got stuff from the show.
Yeah.
But dude, get yourself a fucking shirt.
Yeah, I picked Black Flag. It's
Hell yeah.
a fucking sick shirt, and you know me, I love piratey things. And,
Yeah.
I mean, if we were to totally divert to Iron Maiden, my favorite Iron Maiden song of
I
all
said
time
that
is
kinda
Rhyme
looks
of
like
the
a
Ancient Mariner. And that's what made me think. I was just like, oh.
I said that like with Set being on there like that, it kind of reminds me of Eddie.
Yeah, it's a fucking sick shirt, bro. I appreciate it, really.
All right, so like then we make our way out of the venue. I get some rads in my system, taking a drink from this really shady looking water fountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got lights turned off on us while we were pissing.
Yeah, no kidding, man. It was dark in there, man.
It was dark as fuck, but I am a problem solver, Brando. So first things I did was turn my flashlight on.
Well, see, I was peeing with one hand because I have my
Vinyl?
I had the vinyl and my other shirt, and I'm just like one hand like zipping, and I'm holding there, and I'm just like, oh, yeah, I'm just not gonna move.
So my thing was like, my first thought was get your flashlight on your phone on and finish pissing. So I did. And then I solved the problem and went and found the
There was somebody else in
light
the bathroom. he was in one of the stalls.
He
was
was, and he was like, not cool.
yeah. I really couldn't hear what he said
He
because
said, not cool.
because my ears are still ringing now.
Yeah.
But it was really cool because then we left the venue. We made our way out. Really, okay, so the people right in front of us, I didn't tell this story.
That's a crazy coincidence. See, it's all about the crazy fucking coincidences with this night. It's so weird how everything just worked out.
All right, so like we're standing there, and it might have been after Wolf Tooth. I think it was.
Okay.
So
it was between Wolf Tooth and Kill Ritual?
Maybe.
Okay. So there's a dude that's in front of you, and he's chilling, but he's kind of got his arm a little extra long, and you're trying to find the spot on the barricade.
Yeah. And then they said, "Oh, his sister's coming." So I'm like, that's a cool, dude. I'll move. Dude, I'm at a concert. We're all there to see this band and have a good time. I'm not gonna be the guy that's gonna like. The only time I did is when the people who were like kind of next to us, and I hung back to go hang out with you guys for a little bit.
Yeah.
He like took her spot, and I'm like, I kind of realized it when when the band was getting ready to start, and I like slowly
pushed your way over and
in this way, and this way, and this way. I like jagged myself in. I'm like moving the block and getting myself. All right, but the people in front of us, I overheard them talking, saying that they saw them back in 2001 in Lafayette at the Lafayette Theater, and I went, "You guys from Lafayette? We are too," And you're like, "No way!" And then I finally saw the face of the dude
because he turns to look at you,
and to look at me, and then I remember the story. And just like a few months ago, I'm walking through Walmart in 26 after work, brain frazzled. I'm locking in. I got to go pick up fucking Krispy Kremers, Oreos. I don't know what the fuck I got to do.
Something.
And then dude goes, "Hey, love your shirt, man." And I stop. I don't know what shirt I'm wearing.
You're not there at the moment.
Dude, I've been wearing a paint suit all day. I don't know what I've been wearing. I look down and go, "Oh yeah, man, thanks." And, I don't get compliments on my shirts too often. Every once in a while I do. Yeah. And then I had a short little conversation. He said he saw him in 2001 at the Lafayette Theater with Megadeth. I went, "That's cool." And this was the same dude. It's the same dude and his sister.
Fucking wild.
And because I realized, I'm like, "Dude, didn't I see you in Walmart on 26 like a few months ago?" And you complimented on my shirt. He goes, Yeah. And then she goes, "No way." She was freaking out.
Totally baffled because, again, of all the places we could have stood in the timing of everything, we didn't see them in the meet and greet. We didn't see them in line to get into the venue or the fast pass or any of those things. But right in that moment, you did. And it's so crazy how it works out that, like, this dude just dropped into your life one random moment in time, and you never thought about him again until he was in front of you again, and you were just like...
and it wasn't even then. It wasn't until I connected the dots.
Yeah, put it all together.
And I put that story, this story, and then there was the person. I was like, interesting. So then, like, I actually, like, we were in line at the merch near the end, and I saw them getting ready to leave, and I walked over to him to, like, say, "Hey, be safe going home. It was good seeing you guys."
Yeah.
And then you ran up to try and get a set list.
That didn't work.
Yeah, because there were security guys who were like trying to usher us away.
Yeah.
And I kind of wish we would have stayed because One dude that was right next to us got one.
Yeah.
Damn him. But it was cool because we hung out in the parking lot for a little bit.
Yeah, we were chilling in the parking lot. Now, it's interesting to note that I connected with Stu from Iced Earth on Instagram about a month ago.
Yeah.
There was some post, I don't remember really what it was about or whatever, but we connected and we kind of have stayed a little bit in contact. And he was like, "Oh, you're going to be at Indy. That's fucking cool. Maybe we can, talk after the show or something." I was like, yes, that would be great. Like he was like offering like a, hey, maybe we can have a little extra just to talk. I know you're going to do the VIP because I had mentioned that we had VIPs and I was excited. And, it's their first show on this tour, so maybe they're going to do some new
maybe
shit.
I'll see you in the parking lot or something.
Yeah, and so we're there, and he was like, hey, he hit me up on Insta, and he's like, "Are you guys still here?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, I'm heading to the bus." And we were right by their bus.
Yeah.
So we get out, and Stu's like, "Hey, man, what's up? I'm going to put this stuff in the bus." And he goes and throws the shit in the bus and comes back, and we're chatting and shooting the breeze. And we're talking. We're having this perfectly awesome and normal conversation with Stu. Kind of funnily learned that he's from Saskatchewan, which is a place.
Which I already knew, but
Well, I didn't know that, but I didn't know that, and also I know people in Saskatchewan, so it was like interesting just to have that again coincidental link. Middle of this little Asian dude. I probably should not assume he is from Asia, but he was of Oriental descent.
Yes, of course.
Right. Runs up to us and literally goes, "Hey man, can one of you guys call me a cab? I'll give you $100 right now." Or he said, "Call me an Uber."
Yeah.
Actually, and I'll give you $100 right now. And I literally went, "Yep, done." And I fucking signed up to Uber on my fucking phone, did all that shit. Got him a ride, man. He threw me a hundo. It was amazing.
And it was cool because, like, he even took a picture with us and Stu out there in the
Oh,
parking
yeah,
lot.
he took the picture for us, which was great. That's like a total extra part of the memory.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
while we'll always have that picture, we will always remember you, Mr. Needed an Uber for a hundo.
Exactly.
Man.
Yeah, man. And it was just an awesome experience. Stu is such a cool guy, and, it was cool to connect with him outside of, like, the whole meet and greet thing.
Yeah.
Outside and, like, sure, he's a member of Iced Earth, and then we're fans, super fans. But then it's like, drop that and just talk.
Yeah, and just like breezy with him. And it was really nice because amidst all of that, like I got kind of pulled away to help with Uberman. Maybe that's a new Baller Minutiae character, Uberman.
Oh my god! Yes,
I already have his superpower. It's that he didn't pay his phone bill.
Just like what he said.
Oh, that's great, right? So, anyways,
he never actually goes and fights the crime. He's always waiting on his Uber.
Iced Earth and the Uberman episode title, I think. So I'm kind of locked in this conversation with him and trying to figure this Uber and shit out. You're actually like still conversing with Stu, which kind of worked because, again, you know them more than I do. You kind of are into their band a little bit heavier than I am because ever since Stu took over, it's been a little different for me. Not that I'm not into Stu's work or anything like that. It's just that all in my musical journey, I've changed my musical taste and don't hear metal and listen to that stuff and listen to the stuff I usually listen to nearly as much as I want to. Because I've got all this other music that's going through my fucking brain all the time.
Yeah.
So I got pulled away. You're locked into the conversation, and you maybe brought up our network or something.
I just happened to, like I said something about my wife doing a podcast.
And I jumped over, I guess, in perfect time. I actually didn't hear you say anything.
Yeah, no, because you said, now let's just get down to brass tacks because I got something to tell you. He was like, we actually have a growing podcast network, and I actually do a show where I interview people, like especially musicians, like about their lives, and I'd love to have you on. And he goes, absolutely,
sold. God damn it.
And he said, absolutely. And you're like, I know you guys are on tour, and I'm not going to do it while you're on tour. He goes, April, all April, I'll be available.
Hit me up. Hell yeah, I'm not going to Saskatchewan though.
No. But he said he uses Skype.
He does use Skype, and we're friendly on Insta Place. So yeah, man, it seems cool that he was a really gracious and nice person to talk to. Aside from because the meet and greet was a little bit uptight. I felt like everything was super controlled, and you couldn't just be yourself, and everyone was watching. And
Yeah.
then in the parking lot, once the show's over and everything's kind of normal, it's just like, hey, Stu, what's up, dude? How's it going, man? Like, how's life? How was the show? What did you think? You know, he was asking our opinion. What do we think of the show? How was it? You know, and I thought we had a fantastic time. But overall, man, it was just like, you know, Stu's like, all right, I got to take off, and I helped the Uber kid chase his car down Uberman. Maybe it's Uber kid and not Uberman. You know.
Well, no, you've already
We already coined him Uberman.
yeah, already coined him
Damn it.
Uberman.
Shit. Okay, well, he's locked into Uberman. Anyways, so Uberman takes off in the Uber, and then you and I kind of like sat in the car, and it was that moment of just like, what the fuck did we just totally experience?
Yeah.
Because it was super surreal. It just didn't. The internet's a weird place, dude, because if you would have told 2008 Nate and Brando what 2018 Nate and Brando would be up to seeing Iced Earth, we would have told you no.
No way, dude.
Not a fucking chance.
No way, dude.
There's not a singularity in the history of our friendship that would have led to that path that I could have predicted. And it was just there. What did you think? I mean, on that side of things, like talking with Stu and opening up to that side of him a little bit more.
Dude,
was
it's awesome. It was cool because I know, as I said, I got to meet him twice, but you know, this time around it was sort of like, "Hey, how you doing?" type thing, and they were going to let us do the whole talking thing after and do, instead of a one-on-one, it's like anybody who wants to talk and speak up, and then we did the whole kind of they walked away from that area, and we were all kind of there, and we just kind of chatted there and did that kind of a Q&A, which is cool because that's what I wanted some questions answered. But it was a much different, like we were like in the parking lot chilling.
Yeah.
Just like when you in Walk Among Us goes plays bands, and there's other bands, and you're talking with a guitarist from some other band. They're like, "Yeah, dude, you guys are pretty cool."
and you just
It was
vibe with
it
them,
was
man.
that feeling. It was
It
completely that
absolutely
feeling.
was. And that's funny that you say that, because that is the feeling I got like after the show when I'm talking to Stu and it's not the meet and greet. My first mind was like, it felt like I had played a show on the same card as Stu Block, and that we were just shooting the shit like, oh yeah, your set was great. Oh, yours was too, man. Like, of course he didn't see me perform tonight. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't about that. It was this other thing, and it was unforgettable. Absolutely. Like 10-1. But we can't wait till 2028 to see them again.
No,
Okay. Like,
no. I would love to see him again before this is over, but I don't think I'm going to be able to.
like, I'm going to try like hell to make magic happen so somehow that Chicago show comes through for us. Cause
Well, it will, and just the matter is that it's on another Thursday, and as I said, that late
it's already packed.
It's already packed, and
You know why that week is packed, right? Because that's the Thursday before Easter.
Right.
It's the day before Good Friday.
yeah.
So, and that's actually interesting.
minute.
It is. Yeah,
So do I have that Friday off?
I think so. You just totally changed your mind. Oh my God, I see it. Oh, that's excellent. Yeah, that's happening.
I'm looking this up.
Live on the podcast. He's checking it out. No, but Brando, overall, this
I almost
experience...
typed in Good Fro Day.
Good Froday? Is that like Good Frodo?
According to Bob Ross, every day is a Good Fro Day.
Oh, yeah, it is a
Oh,
Good
yeah.
Froday.
Happy little accident there. Friday, March 30th, and then the Easter.
Is the 29th.
Where's my shirt?
It's 29th.
Is it on my? It's on my shirt.
It's right behind you, to your other side. Yep, that one. But Chicago is March 29th.
Ha! I got my old shirt. Doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop. It is. Oh shit. Oh shit.
Well, you got a place to stay, bro. You come up and podcast with me, and we can see them at the beginning and end of one tour.
Oh, shit, that'd be crazy. So now, wait, is it? Where'd it go? Here it is. Here it is. Come on now. Come on now, Jack. Yeah, that's a holiday.
So
Son of a bitch.
we're gonna see them.
That was
on
good either way.
We were gonna see them in the first and the last show of the tour. This is unreal. Like, I'm having a little bit of a moment right now.
Oh fuck.
That's fucked up, dude. What is more fucked up? That same weekend, I have a show 2 days later.
Oh, cool.
I just got that email like a couple hours ago.
Yeah.
So that's wild.
Yeah, I'll have to make plans.
Whew. This is all coming together nicely.
Yep. Hell yeah, man. Well, I think it's time to kind of get out of here. I think we've gushed enough.
Yes.
Had a lot of fun, man. It was awesome. It was great to see Blaine and Joe go, even if they, left a little early. They missed some awesome ass songs. They left in the middle of. I almost slipped up and said a song.
Don't do it.
Almost slipped up, guys. It's like 4 a.m, guys.
For you, it is. Jesus,
dude. For you, it is too because you can't say, oh, for me it's 3 because you ain't back yet.
You're right. I'm still over here in your land.
You're over here and.
But tomorrow I'm time traveling.
You are time
because I will leave here on an 1.5-hour drive, and it will only take me 30 minutes. I don't know.
Oh, okay, so you said you don't work till 7?
Yeah, but I gotta be in Lowell by like 12:30.
Oh shit! So we need to get to bed.
I'm not really,
It's a good thing that this doesn't need to get exported tonight.
No, it has no need to get exported. I'm actually going to shut the board off tonight and make sure that nothing stupid happens.
Nothing stupid. All right. Well,
we
guys,
almost did it twice in 2 days.
I know. Well, guys, thank you for checking out this episode of Journey into Comics. Of course, the first half was an awesome dive into comics, and the second one was an awesome gush about our awesome fucking night. It was definitely one for the ages.
Unforgettable.
Unforgettable entirely, man. It was awesome. I was so blessed to be able to share it with so many of my friends and how they got to show up.
Yes.
And I got my vinyl, I got my shirts. We got our beer steins coming. We got our doubloons. We got our posters. We got our laminates. And we got memories to last a lifetime.
Yes, absolutely. And we have picture proof and also a podcast that we talked about it, which is great. Yeah. It's like full memories we can never forget now. I wish that 2008 us would have been podcasting. I would love to hear what we thought about that show.
Oh, the Power Fest?
Right after. Because that was...
Would you remember we actually dissected that because we went to eat. We went out to eat right after that. Was that a Bob Evans?
No, we ate at Denny's.
Oh,
Denny's is right by the Pearl Room in Mokina. I remember because every time I went to the Pearl Room, I ate at fucking Denny's. And I also watched Tony walk across to the White Castle to take a shit. That's a real story. We stood in line to see the worst version of the Misfits, arguably.
Doyle?
No,
not Doyle. It was the
Jerry Only. Only's era. So it's like Only's the lead singer and bass player, and then he had like Des Cadena from Black Flag. Anyways, doesn't matter who was there. But as Tony was walking back from his apparently very hearty shit that he took, he got stopped by some dude in a car who's like, "So, what are you guys doing up here tonight? I see this line formed. What the fuck's going on up here?" He's like, there's just band the Misfits. We're gonna see him. They're pretty cool. We're gonna see him. And in the middle of him saying that, he realized who he was talking to, which was Jerry Only, and he just went, oh, as Jerry just drove away smiling at him, and I like watched it happen because I saw immediately, oh my God, Tony's talking to Jerry Only, and then I was like, oh my God, he doesn't realize he's talking to Jerry Only. This is amazing, and then it was wild because it's weird how that all works.
Yeah, dude.
But I digress.
I've been digesting for like an hour.
Once
again, we ate and podcasted.
Yeah, that was both times today.
Both times. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys for checking out this episode of Journey into Comics. You can check us out on all of the major podcasting platforms.
I'm going to stop you right there, Brando, because we've already done it early in the episode. So if you want to save yourself from doubling down on the pluggage today, we can give ourselves a hall pass. I am the Podfather.
You're the Podfather, and I am the Podmaster. And you can check us out on Podbean, Stitcher Radio, Podbean, iTunes, Spotify. But so guys, and then if you want to go help us out, go to our Patreon. I am going to do these plugs.
I love it.
Because that's it.
Awesome.
We're on social media. Go search Journey into Comics. You'll find us.
Absolutely, folks. As always, this has been episode 180 of Journey into Comics. I guess we'll call it Iced Earth and the Uberman. Fuck it.
Iced Earth and the Uberman.
All right, bro. Well, I've been Nate.
I've been Brando.
As always, keep doing us a favor and always fill your brains with shit. Later.